freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
That, of course, was Martin Luther King in one of the world's most enduring speeches that has been repeated probably millions and millions of times, especially in countries where the people are seeking real freedom. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Azath Salley, are we truly free at last in Sri Lanka?
Faraz, thank you very much for the invitation. We are hardly free at last in Sri Lanka. Ask yourself the question, what does freedom mean? Right now we have challenges with food security, energy security, and very importantly, the security of an existence of life. People are suffering, they are challenged to the number of different ways. So Sri Lanka is hardly free.
So what is the solution? What is the immediate solution?
For us, the biggest problem this country was having 2 years back, soon after the presidential election, we saw a president-elect. I have always been saying this country needs somebody who knows what he is doing, number one. Second is a president who will accommodate all communities, not bring about a extremist element or extremist views that will bring disunity among the communities and the parties. At a time like this, after Sri Lanka has suffered with this pandemic in the last 2 years, all what we thought is that this country will do better. 6.9 million people voted for this. The basic problem that I feel is, number one, is the president was not even a member of the Pradeshi Sabha. See, if you take all the presidents who have run this country, have some experience, or they have been long time members of parliament, they have been in the provincial council, they have been in the municipal council, they had the experience. Here you had this, and suddenly you had a group of people who call themselves the Viatmaga. The Viatmaga MPs and ministers have never been even a Pradesh Sabha members.
Right.
So that is where we went wrong.
But they are professionals in their own
So
right.
that is right. So they are professionals in their whatever profession they were.
Yeah.
So they are eligible, and they are very rightfully they can manage that, but not manage a country. See, as I think 2 years ago when you did a program with me,
Yeah.
I very clearly mentioned
Yeah.
a speech made by the then Prime Minister of Pakistan. He very clearly told for us,
Yeah.
I will not blame the generals, he said. I will not blame the generals because they are one-track minded. You show them hell, they will capture it for you, but not run a country. Very correct. See, as you said, the professionals in the Viatmaga, they are experts in one direction. They are expert in some subjects.
So they have the basics.
But that basics does not work with politics.
Okay.
See, that is where they went wrong. Now you saw when the ship caught fire, the Express Pearl, what happened for us? We saw the Viatmaga minister coming and making a statement that this was not due, the turtles were dying not for the fire of the ship. Correct or not? Was that told or not?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe it
So
was.
that is because he did not have the relevant experience. Right? So Vihatmaga did not create that for him. So that minister became very silent after some time. Then you have another minister in charge of health. He also on and off makes wrong statements. So like that, you politically, when you come from a background as a provincial councillor, a municipal councillor, a member of parliament, a deputy minister, state minister, then a minister, you have the experience.
So what you're saying is there's no transparency.
No transparency.
No fair play.
No fair play. This is where everything went wrong. We need to be very mindful, right, about what we are doing. Now the country is in a situation where we have already gone into bankruptcy, which is being told.
Well, certainly almost international bankruptcy.
Almost international. We don't have the dollars. Now see, as we started earlier, you see the fertilizer issue for us. Starting with that, no. When this fertilizer issue came, you saw for yourself the President's manifesto, which clearly said that over a period of 10 years, we will be going into carbonic fertilizer. Well and good. Everybody likes it. But what happened? When you found that you don't have the relevant foreign currency to import the fertilizer, you made a decision that you must get into carbonic immediately. Right? So what happened? When you were in the platform, you get a call from your brother, former president, please announce that you will not even be charging the 350 rupees for the fertilizer and you will be giving that free. What happened? Were you able to give it free? Were you able to import it? Nothing. Why did you say that? So you must know, your advisors should tell you, Mr. President, this is the thing that can be done, this is the thing that cannot be done. But now today, the suffering of the whole country is for what? Tell me, even you or your company, all your imports are being stopped today. If there are 1,500 containers still lying in the port without being cleared for lack of dollars, you can see the central bank governor saying every day, we have no problem. We have no problem, and the containers have been released. But you call the factories that needs raw material, you call the people who have imported food items, tell how long your containers are lying, they will give you a list, dates of how many containers are still in the port of Colombo. So this is where we all are suffering for us. This is the issue.
There is in Sri Lanka, as we mentioned earlier, a lack of transparency, a lack of a commitment to eradicate corruption. Our economy is badly hit. It's no good saying that the world is hit, because some countries are actually showing a gain. We know that it is bad form at the moment. So what do we have to do, the people have to do, to make these people in power, who are holding office, understand that our economy cannot sustain any form of wastage, corruption, vanity projects, anything of the sort? Do we really need jogging tracks? Do we need mobile gyms? Do we actually even need fancy roads? Although necessary, at the moment, the people need food. As you mentioned in your opening statement, the people have the fundamental premise is a right to existence, the right to live, and then we need food. But with this move, this disastrous move about the move towards organic fertilizer, which the President was assured can be achieved very quickly, he was obviously under-informed. So what is the problem?
You would have seen a program that is widely circulated about countries that have mismanaged their projects, like the Matalaya Port, the Hambantota Harbour, the Conference Hall, the playground, all these were loans.
You mean the stadium?
Stadium. All these were loans that we are even now paying. If these things were not done, Sri Lanka would have not been this. But today what these MPs and ministers say is these loans that were taken by the Yapalana government, the good governance government, but which is not true, no?
Some of it is true.
Some of it is true, right? So you have arrears of all the previous doings, and even now, is this a time, as you say, to spend unnecessarily for things that are not needed immediately?
Yeah.
What you require is to give your people the food to eat. Today, nobody is having a three times meal for us. Why is that? Because, see, with the pandemic, people were put inside their homes.
Yeah.
Not allowed to come out.
Yeah.
Some people had to work from home, right? Some people were paid half the salary. So everybody is today suffering.
But the queues at the passport office.
Passport office is one for us. First and foremost, you must eat to live, no? Today
Yes,
you can't do that, no?
Because they
You
can't
don't
do
have
that.
rice.
They're leaving.
You don't have gas. Now you are having bombs inside your own house, right? So people are today suffering with that. People. So you have mixed your priorities for us. If you know what you are doing, today the entire country. Now what the president should do is now call for all party conference, bring all political parties together, bring all religious leaders together, tell them the real situation, tell them the truth. This is the real problem that we are facing.
Right.
We are unable to proceed further. Let us all get together, bring about a solution to this, right? You don't keep doing things to make the scenario worse.
But the point is that whilst I hear what you say, there are constantly deals being made amongst the political parties. We had the shameful experience of I think it was 6 Muslim MPs who voted for the 20th Amendment. And today they're the very people who will probably complain about the inequity. Thank you for your questions. I'm going to take this one just before the break. Let me take this. Please tell Mr. Salley, as long as there are different parties representing the Tamils, Muslims, Sinhala people, etc., we will always be divided.
Exactly.
To think like a Sri Lankan, we should drop the ethnicity from their party names. They can call it this Democratic Party or the Loony Party, whatever, but never ethnic names. That is a statement from somebody out there. They're obviously being moved. Let me come back. You can have a response after this break. We're going to listen to the headlines from the Newsfirst primetime news team. We'll see you on the other side of the break. And welcome back to Newsline, our edition about free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, free at last. But is Sri Lanka really free? My guest is Mr. Azath Salley, recently released from incarceration, where he was in remand for 9 months, and a court in Sri Lanka cleared him fully. He's right here with us, the first time since his release. Mr. Azath Salley, there's a brain drain going on in Sri Lanka. How are we going to stop this?
For us, we need to be very mindful of brand Sri Lanka.
But there is a brain drain going on in Sri Lanka.
But there is a real brain drain going on Sri Lanka.
Yes.
The queues at the passport office is a testimony. We live in a world which is very small, with air travel, shipping, so on. Migration is easy, opportunities exist overseas, and when people are challenged here, armed with their education, migration is a real option. More than that, for us, as much as it is easy to individuals to leave Sri Lanka, or manufacturers also know that it is very easy to relocate to regional markets.
So what you're saying is, apart from individual people who have their education and who have no opportunity in Sri Lanka and who are frustrated in Sri Lanka, they will leave.
Exactly, that is what is happening.
And what you're also saying is that not only people, but companies will leave.
Company will leave because they don't have the raw materials. How will they start working? Now see, they have a huge amount of payments to make. not only to the bank loans that they have taken for their production,
Yeah.
but also to the staff that they are holding on.
But there are several companies in Sri Lanka who have offices and operations in India, in Pakistan,
exactly.
Bangladesh, Vietnam, and even Thailand.
See, how many of our companies
Yeah.
and branches they have in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, especially Bangladesh. You go and see, so many Sri Lankans are in Bangladesh, Vietnam and Thailand. Dubai has recently announced a golden visa scheme. Many professionals will take advantage.
They will,
So they are all
actually.
leaving.
Yeah.
Why they are leaving? You know the suffering that they are undergoing. They do so because they will enjoy opportunities, equality, and they may not have their motherland. They are leaving that. They are leaving their loved ones. For what? For their existence, for their living, for the family to live a peaceful life. For that reason, for us.
So, Mrs. Ali, you know, the problem appears to be a political one, in the sense that we need all parties to get together and to work in the better interests of brand Sri Lanka, opportunity Sri Lanka. I mean, you know, do you think that we will have foreign companies who will consider Sri Lanka if the rule of law is non-existent?
Definitely for us now, if actually speaking, see, if we don't watch out, business too will be relocated outside, no?
Yeah.
Because they have no other option. If they can't get their things, they have to move out.
Yeah.
If the entrepreneurs leaving us, will be a major disaster to the country. Not only to the economy, but to the country, to the people, everybody. So where are we going to go? And what are we going to do? This is why I say the professionals, the parties, everybody will have to come together. This is, I mean, like putting the country in a war footing. Sri Lanka must be put into a united front.
Yeah.
Right. We have to leave all our political thinking aside, our ideology aside, our communalism aside, because this government came with communalism. No, that is how they came to power. So if they are going to continue this, we are all finished. So now it is for the people who voted to bring pressure on their MPs, ministers, tell them, look, Sri Lanka is going down. I mean, see, you can't be, now President is saying we are a country that was affected by the pandemic for 2 years. So Bangladesh was also affected, but we are asking loan from Bangladesh and we can't pay. We are asking for another 3 months extension. Same with India, we are asking for another 4 months extension. We can't pay. So how long can somebody give you money like that? How long can they extend your term of money? You can't go on like that. So what is the solution to the problem? We said no. When Mr. Basil Rajapaksa comes as Minister of Finance, the whole problem will be settled. But what happened with that budget? Nothing went.
Thank you very much for your questions. I'll read this one. Please tell Mr. Azath Salley that we are delighted to see him on Newsline again. Thank you. Well, you know, here we go. Please ask Mr. Azath Salley to bring his glasses the next time. Thank you. But you know, I know that you've made an effort to write down what you want to say and so on.
Yeah.
But we've got about 5 minutes left. I must ask you for your take on your incarceration. 9 months. 9 months of your life is a long time. 9 months of anybody's life is a long time. 9 months is what it takes usually for a lady to deliver birth. All right? So it's 9 months. What do you feel? Are you bitter? Are you angry?
Of course, very, very angry. For us, whatever said and done, since there is only 5 minutes left, I will have to first remind you, as I wanted to start that initially, when we started this program, is how we feel the absence of this great personality, Mr. Rajamahendran. See, it is my duty to remind you that the voice of the people has been sustained over many, many years by a fearless media. There is a little doubt in my mind that the most outstanding has been the principal anchor of a fearless media, Mr. Rajamahendran. Sadly, he passed away during my incarnation of 9 months. He made it a point to highlight the real issues affecting the people. But it corruption, wastage or spending of vanity or fancy projects, it has been this network that has highlighted these matters. I don't need to tell you about the bond matter. Newsline itself in its creation, Dawasa, Ilakaya, Satana and even Newsline. So we owe a deep and profound gratitude to Mr. Rajamahendran, even if some people don't even acknowledge the passing of such a genius. He was truly a Sri Lankan who believed in a one Sri Lanka for all its people. Look at the diversity of the employment in the group. I, for one, consider myself more than lucky to have known him as a dear friend, as a mentor, as a fatherly figure to me. I miss him so much because he has always been my backbone.
Thank you for those very. I know that you absolutely love our
And also,
chairman.
when I was told about his death, I was able to speak to the family and tell them that I will be coming straight from my release to see them, and I did so. And I continue to keep that relationship with the family.
But you know, Azath, thank you very much. I'm sure those words will resound to all our listeners and to everybody in our group. But I also want to say this, Azath, we can't go back and change what has happened, and therefore we must today, now, prepare the ground for a better tomorrow.
Definitely, this is what Mr. Rajamahendran's view also. We know his contribution to the country, to the economy. Whenever there was issue, now if you take for instance, the 2015 government, he supported it when they were trying to come to power. After they came to power, he started criticizing them for all the wrong they were doing. That was Rajamahendran. He did not fear or favor. He did what was right for the people of this country. So this is what a TV station should be doing, but not do business with the government or do favorism, do programs to bring them up and then later do business with. This is what your media had up to now not done.
Thank you. But you know, Azath, we've got 2 more minutes, okay? Now, tell me, the TNA, there were 11 seats, but they seem to be solidly strong. Why can't the 1.3 million Muslim voters also have one alliance that is strong? Is it that the Muslims are disunited?
See, for us, my view has always been that we must not go with the religious background. Religious politics should be banned in the country. That is, community politics, ethnic politics, all must be banned in this country. We have to do national politics. We have to have all these names that as communal names be removed from the election commission. If that is done, then to an extent we are going up somewhere. We have to unite as one. When an election comes, as a parties you can get together and form an alliance, contest, all that is okay. But when you have the die of a communal thing, then you have various other issues coming up. When there is something done also, then they think that somebody has favored somebody. Right? This attitude has been a bigger problem with this last election. And you can see that happening. So what we want to do is that let everybody come, form into an alliance. Now this is the time for an alliance, I think. Even the president must think of the country first. Forget his presidency, forget his 6.9 million voters. How are we going to put this country straight? Right is one way is call for a all-party conference. Tell the country's situation. Why are we not going to IMF? Please give an explanation. There are people, experts who are talking why you should go to IMF.
I'm afraid that I'm going to have to cut you short because we've come to the end of our time. But we'll have you back on a program and we can discuss it.
Yeah, definitely you will have me back because for us, from the time I came to do this program, I was so saddened by the demise of Mr. Rajamahendran. I am not in a position to speak up because as I came here, for the first program after my release. So I think we will meet up on another day.
I appreciate your candid commentary. Thank you very much. And that's the way it was on Newsline Live with Mr. Azath Salley. Sri Lanka is not quite free, is what he said. Let's see. In the meantime, it's now to the on to the primetime news from News First. Take care, and as always, God bless you.